Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
A young man came to our church one time to speak. As a high schooler, he'd been in a serious accident with a semi. For months, they didn't even know if he would live, let alone walk and talk again. Though he still had some significant disabilities, this young man became a walking, talking miracle and witness of God's faithfulness. As part of his testimony, I'll never forget, he said he would never want to go back to that athletic, self-focused young man that he once was before the accident, because he wouldn't know God as he does now. The experience not only changed his life, it changed his soul. Maybe you have a testimony like that, where God had to get your attention before you would truly surrender to Him. For some, He has to do something shocking, something big and significant. For others, He just has to do something out of the ordinary to shock them into paying attention to what He wants to do in their life. For the Samaritan woman in John 4, He just had to ask for a drink. Now that doesn't seem very shocking to us. It's noon, it's hot. Jesus has just walked all morning from Judea on hot, dusty, difficult roads, and he's thirsty. He's sitting next to a well with no way to get water. A lady comes up with a jug, and of course he's going to ask her for a drink. But this is no lady. She's a Samaritan. Jews would rather die of thirst than ask a Samaritan for a drink, let alone a woman. Jewish men didn't even speak to women in public, not even women of their own household most of the time. And this woman, well, most Jews might not know what kind of woman she was, but Jesus did. We read that He knew everything about her. He revealed later that He knew about her 5 husbands and the adulterous relationship she was in. Even in her society, she was an outcast, which was probably why she was at the well in the middle of the day when it was so hot. But He knew more than that. He knew what happened in each of those relationships, how rejected and unloved she probably felt, since in that culture only a man could divorce his wife, not the other way around. He knew how she'd ended up on this path and how trapped she felt in her situation, because we know that's what sin does. Yes, the Lord knew everything, and He loved her anyway. Jesus knew He had to get her attention somehow, so He asked her for a drink. Simple but shocking. He didn't open with a rebuke of her ungodly living. He spoke to her where she was and ended up talking about water of all things. Of course, He was good at making those types of connections, but this shocked her. She looked Him over. The prayer tassels on His robe would have identified Him as a Jew if nothing else did. She said, "How is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman?" John adds here, "For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans." In Greek, the idiom literally means the Jews do not use the same utensils as Samaritans. If talking to her was bad, drinking out of the same cup was unimaginable. Though it wasn't biblical, Jews would have considered that unclean. But that's not how Jesus did things. He overlooked man-made prejudices. In fact, He tended to rebuke those that the world honored, like the Pharisees, and honor those that the world hated, like tax collectors, prostitutes, and, well, this adulterous Samaritan woman. And it was rather shocking. How can you break down barriers of man-made prejudice by extending God's love and care to others? It might be a bit shocking to you and to them, but it'll get their attention. And maybe you'll end up with a new brother or sister.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.